I was born in Ireland, and I've spent over half my life here in the United States. And by the way, I'm a Methodist from Ireland, so we're not very many. But I am absolutely fascinated by the fact that the government is paying you to offer full-blooded, no-holds-barred Christian religious services in the army. And so my question has to do is how does that fit with the more general sort of political theology in which, at least in America, you're supposed to have the separation of church and state? It seems like this is just a massive exception to what, in fact, is I just speak as an ignorant outsider at this stage, the massive exception to what one hears about the core of what America is about, namely the separation of church and state.
I had to write, when I was with the Department of Defense level in the Pentagon, I had to write what was called a religious support primer to sort of explain the chaplaincy because nobody understands it. The undersecretaries didn't get it, and unless you've actually, been in contact with the chaplaincy, the other branches don't even understand it. And one of the things I said in there is it's probably one of the most amazing miracles that you'll ever see because you have all these people of different denominations. I mean, we're just as comfortable with each other as anything. But the second point that I helped them to understand is the government can make anybody a cook, or they can teach them to be a mechanic, or they can go to a law school and say, give me an attorney, or they can even go to a medical school and say, give us a doc. But the one thing they cannot do is make somebody a clergy person. And so they have to go to the churches and say, we can't do that. Because of that separation of church and state, the government can't make somebody a clergy person. They can't train them. The only people who can ordain or endorse, or depending on whether it's a lay tradition or an ordained, is only the churches. And so in essence, they're just lending their clergy to the military. If at any point that church determines they're being asked to do something they don't want them to do, or the person is uncomfortable with what they're doing or whatever, at any moment, it doesn't matter where they are in their career, the church can pull them right back and they're theirs. And so it's a very it's being lent to the military. And again, they pay their wages because they're providing that religious support to soldiers, sailors, airmen, or Marines.